Hey guys, it's me Rebecca. So this will be the start of another weekly vlog, and as I mentioned in my last vlog, I was gonna try and finish Foundry Side today, which I did, and I enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I literally just finished it, so yeah, this is like my fresh thoughts. But we see how Gregor survived, like what happened to him when the actual villain or the spouse of the person who hired assassins tried to take Cliff from him, and it seems like they put him in his like power suit called a Lorica. I'm not really sure if that's correct. And it seems like to just affect him, or someone was controlling his head, like turning him into this weapon essentially. Like he didn't have any thoughts or anything that was actually him. It's just like empty-headed weapon who was just like kill the woman, take the box and the key, and leave. That was all he was told, and he was gonna do that like not regarding anything else until Sonia comes and is able to kind of prevent him from going on that. Like she seems to somehow block him back a bit, and she was able to stop the spouse of the person. I don't know, I'm being big, but yeah, and it seems like Sonia, she changes things when she stops the villain. First of all, by using Clef to open the box, it killed Clef. He's no longer able to be used as a key. He can no longer talk to Sonia. Like it's like he actually did die. Like he thought he would. And as well, when Sonia opens the box, this like powerful figure comes out of it and kills an actual villain and changes things and is like and how Sonia she owes her a debt for this. And yeah, it seems like this figure like knew, she saw like what the actual villain was trying to do, like to become a god and a maker, and was like, we don't need another one, and stopped it. But it seems like with Sonia doing like what she did, like to stop the villain from becoming a maker, becoming a god, it seems like she started this war. I mean, yeah, I think we will get proper details in book 2, but it's like a war between the different merchant houses and the civilians, like the people who are living in poverty in a common. So yeah, and we also see how the merchant houses, they seem to be using Orso as like an scapegoat. Like they won't really let him defend himself, like because the house that was the bad house, like they're destroyed. They cannot really have a say, and due to other reasons, like due to other excuses, really, the head of the trial was like, we won't take their testimony into regard, like it won't matter, and they tried to sentence Orso to the death sentence essentially, and Orso like he had some plans installed to basically, so he's in merchant house, and in the way the merchant houses work is that you need to have employees, you need to have a house, an actual physical building. So yeah, Orso has definitely made some new enemies, because the other merchant houses, like, they're not happy with what he and the others did, so they're gonna try and take him down. But he also is using that argument to his advantage. Like, they were able to take down like the oldest merchant house there is. Like, would it be smart for the other merchant houses to go after them? So yeah, and it seems like with the other merchant houses, especially with the house that Gregor belonged to, his mother was like, there was an individual that his mother consulted a couple times that she calls my prophet, and it seems like he is someone who will predict stuff like an actual prophet on how things will be. And it seems like the war's not really started properly yet, but it will, and when it does, like, the last line of the book is him telling Ophelia, I'm sorry if I butchered that, who is Gregor's mother, and it's like, it is time to stop hiding. Like, who is hiding? What's hiding? Like, I'm curious to see what will happen in the second book. So I will continue on in the series, and I don't know. Oh, sorry, I got a notification, but I am also intrigued to see, I don't know, just relationships changing and whatnot. We do get, it looks like there might be some romance in this series between Sonia and Bernice, who is Orso's assistant essentially. And I don't know, I need to see more chemistry between them, just because we get some interactions between them, but seems more business-like than anything else. So yeah, like there was a couple interactions where it is maybe friendly, or definitely one where it's definitely romantic. But yeah, I just need to see more chemistry, or just to see chemistry between them, actual chemistry. So yeah, but I do like it. And my next read will be Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bars Terka. Sorry if I butchered that name, but I believe this takes place in a dystopian world where, for some reason, we are no longer able to eat animal meat, so we go to eating human meat. And yeah, that's really just the idea of it. Yeah, and then this guy Marcos, he gets this life specimen, and he's someone who like goes through the process of the meat, making sure it's all good enough for people to actually eat. And he's not supposed to form like personal contact with them, as it is forbidden on pain of death. And but little by little, he is treating this specimen, this individual who he's not supposed to see as human. He starts treating her as human. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued by that, and any updates I will have on that will be in this vlog, of course. But yeah, but today I've just done some cleaning and wanted us to get reset for the upcoming week, as it is Sunday. And I did finally wash those curtains that you saw a couple weeks ago. I just haven't found time. Like, my mom likes to wash those curtains when they're still a bit wet, just because she finds it's just easiest to iron them dry, so there's no wrinkles. So yeah, I think for the rest of the day I'm just gonna do some more cleaning and just rest for a bit. I'm not feeling the best today for some reason, but yeah. So it's the next day, and I've just done some work and whatnot. I also helped my mom by putting some of the curtains back on and whatnot. And I have done some reading of Tender is the Flesh, and now I'm on page 84, I think. And so far, I'm very much intrigued about this book. With this novel, like I said yesterday, we do follow in this dystopian timeline where there was this virus that caused animals to go mad, and we're no longer able to eat them. Like, it seems like the government went into made it their mission to kill all animals, like dogs, cats, all wild animals, and animals in general, like cows and pigs, like animals we do eat. And instead, we resorted to eating humans, as doctors have said that we are missing like certain vitamins, or we are facing deficiencies, like vegetarianism. Don't know why I said it. Or being vegetarian isn't good enough, or we're not able to for some weird reason. And yeah, we decided to eat humans, and it's really like it started with like people like who are not very rich, or people who are in poor areas of the area, just killing each other, eating each other, and it's going to like eating immigrants, or people who are, I guess, less terrible, less favorable, or in the society. And yeah, and we follow this guy named Marcos who wants this like not animal, but meat processing like business. Like he he covers all aspects of the business. He works with the sellers and that where the meat goes to the butcher shops, and but also he works in behind the scenes stuff like with maybe processing the meat and having, and we see how he it's also like he co-owns or is works for the factory where the meat where the humans are killed or slaughtered, and how they're sorry, I keep hearing a noise. How they are cut up after they're killed, and how they're separated, like internally and externally, and whatnot. And yeah, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in this novel, especially like how the media comes into play with this one, because it seems like the public are influenced by the media, and the media in a way are also controlled by the government and the like big companies who are losing money because we're no longer able to eat meat. It seems like with the media, doctors who are saying stuff that's bad for business, they say what they say once, and then something happens, they lose credibility, or they disappear, and then or it happens that their research was proven wrong by many more doctors, like it's one voice versus many more voices. And I did take notes, so wait a second, why is my tablet acting up? And it looks like that's all I said about the media, but also I want to say something about language. Language is also a big part of this, because the humans who are being slaughtered for their meat, they are no longer allowed to be considered human. Like if you consider them human, you'll be facing a lot of consequences. You could be jailed, and if you work in a process field and you try to help them, you could also face a lot of problems. Like they're in Israel, with terms of language, they are no longer called human, but meat is one, or there's other stuff which I probably should have taken notes on, but it's like, yeah, so like the processing house, like it's basically a slaughterhouse, but they are no longer able to call it that. Like there was a quote in this novel that I did like, oh gosh, where is it? It's on page, if you're curious, 50, and it's like the Marcos, his mother, the practice with this one is once in his family, and it's like there was this sign where it's like it just said slaughterhouse, and even though the letters are very faded, like they are almost blending into the building, into the sky, they're still there. And it's like page 15 to 51, it's like the word remain. The word remains. The word that speaks to the impossible truth behind a beautiful building. Slaughterhouse, because there slaughter took place, and it's the truth. And yeah. Yeah, really that's all. Like everything with that stuff in. With Marcos as a character, it seems like he originally envisioned himself going down a different path, but in life, but he was kind of forced to go into this industry because it pays very well. I think it pays very well, and I want to touch on everything because the processing and like it pays well, but people just don't have the stomachs for it. So. And with Marco's case in particular, like he was doing a because his father like lost his mind because of the aspect that he has to slaughter human beings. Like his father was someone who just wanted to help people, and the fact he had to change the way he did things in the way he had to change things because he couldn't cope with that, and he lost his mind. And it seems like he did also develop dementia, so he's in a nursing home. So yeah, Marcos had to pay for that initially, and then it seems like he and his wife, like, they struggled to get pregnant, and they had to go through IVF treatment and other treatments, and then all whacked up bills. There's also a mortgage. Like, Marcos has to be in this industry not because he wants to, or because he thinks it will help others, but because he has to in order to pay bills, in order to help his family, help his loved ones. And yeah, and we see as well with him how that affects him, and with him in particular as well. Sorry if this updates a mess. There's a lot that's happened in these 80 pages. That's just like, there's a lot to discuss really. But we follow him really when he and his wife, they lost their baby. It seems like it was like sudden infant death syndrome, I think it is. Like, they put their son to sleep to bed one night, and then they woke up the next day and he was dead. So, but we see how his wife left him. She couldn't be in the same house where her son died, and he wants to feel something. Like, he sees in the industry how people get so angry, how there's hatred and sadness, and he wants to feel so much, but he just can't. He feels too much and so much that he just feels too much, I guess. Like, there's the sadness and the anger with everything going on. Like, he's currently going through a lot, and then I think it was like a co-worker or someone he works for, just dumps this female specimen on and whatnot. Like, he doesn't know what to do with this female because he can slaughter her, can hurt her how. He can even eat her alive, because apparently that's something that happens in this novel. Like, so yeah, so far I'm very much intrigued on like how this industry's working, how it's thriving with like just the idea that people are eating people. Like, we've resorted to cannibalism. And as well, I am intrigued by I guess Marcos as a character, his own personal journey, and I guess healing, even through what he went through. No one can completely heal from that, but he can take that pain and, I guess, not thrive, but you'll see how that pain, that sadness, that anger will affect him in his decisions in the future. So, yeah. Let's see how I feel about this novel by the end, because my god, like, there's my god, there's a lot, and there's only been like maybe one scene where I'm like, oh my word, and it was like on page 41, with the fact that that sometimes these people, they are eaten alive. Like, we see with the process in this proper processing factory, how the humans are killed before they're taken apart, and apparently sometimes like you can just cut off a limb, cut off a leg here and there while they're still alive, and I think that's more, well, it's more like disturbing, honestly, because it's like these humans, they don't feel peace when they're alive whatsoever. Like, they're treated as this other being. They're not treated as human, and they're not able to vocalize how they're feeling because something happens to their vocal cords, I'm guessing they're surgically removed or whatever. They're not able to scream or anything. They're not treated as human when they're alive. They're definitely not treated as human when they're dead, but at least when they're alive, they don't feel so much pain. They don't feel the pain of being cut off. Like, my word, that's definitely the only thing that's like, I guess, disturbing. So yeah, so far this book is making me think and feel a lot of things, as you can imagine, and I can't say I'm enjoying it because, again, that's not the way word, but I'm very much intrigued about it. Like, on what Marcos will do now with this female specimen and his possession, and how his relationship with his wife and other relationships will be affected. So yeah, and I think for the rest of the day I'm just gonna be doing some more work and whatnot. So yeah, and I think for this week in general I'm just gonna be staying home for most of it, just because the next 3 days they promise rain. So yeah, at least the heat wave is broken. But yeah, but I'll see you when I see you. And it's the next day. And so far I've just done some work and some cleaning and whatnot. I'm planning to run some errands in a couple hours, so yeah. And I have done some reading of Thunderous the Flash, and now I'm on page 144, part 2. At the end of part 1 we see how different Marcos' sister is to him. His sister tries to, it looks like she just tries to put up a front of like she's a good woman, a good society woman, and she lives in a city, and apparently in a city people are afraid of bird poop, like because of the virus and whatnot. And she has 2 kids, 2 twins that she calls kids, but everyone else calls them twins. And it seems like she and her husband, they named their kids after themselves, which is a bit like weird. Yeah, and it seems like she believes in everything that the government is saying. She's been brainwashed by them. And Marco's like, there's a point where he doubted, like he had this weird doubt that the government, like, had to, that he suspected that the virus is a lie invented by global powers, and it was legitimized by the government and the media. He used to have these 2 dogs that he had to put down because of this virus and whatnot. And his sister's like pretending to be a good society woman. She doesn't really seem to care about her family, like about she has her kids in a good school and whatnot, but she cares about them, and she's portraying it out like the ugly parts of her life, like the fact her father's in a nursing home. Apparently, even who she and her husband are both like. She likes to say that they're not a witch, but they're well off. But it doesn't seem like she's contributing anything to helping to pay for their father's like stay in a nursing home, and it seems like all of this responsibility has to fall on Marcos, and it seems like she doesn't even visit their father, so there's that, like, there's, you see the 2 different ways of the siblings. And with Marcos in part 2, there is a bit of a jump skip, it looks like, from him having intercourse with the female in his possession, because she's now like almost, she's 8 months pregnant, and he cannot say that the child is his, and if anyone finds out about the child, she and him and maybe indefinitely their kid will be taken to the slaughterhouse. So he has to worry about that. He keeps her now locked up in his house for mainly her protection, it seems like she's been treated her whole life as human. Not human, sorry. She's been treated her whole life as an animal, and she behaves like an animal, and more animal than human. Like, he had to lock away the knives and spoons and forks and anything that she can use to hurt herself. Like, and he buys her like friends and whatnot. Like, he also had to teach her not to be afraid of the TV, of anything. Like, she had a lot of fears. Yeah, and I'm intrigued to see how that goes. If it is found out that he has her and that she's impregnated with his child, how that will go if they will actually be taken to the slaughterhouse. And yeah. And more disturbing stuff, you see how this church, like, it's gotten like the government's permission to sacrifice their church members every now and then, and we see how different that process is compared to like those whose destiny was to be lunch, really. Like, it seems like they are tracronized and they are walked through the processing factory, and it seems like they're blindfolded so they don't expect like when they will be stunned and whatnot. And yeah, the whole thing was just really, it's like they accept the fact that the sacrifices, they accept the fact that they're gonna be sacrificed. This church, they see humans as venom, that where the oldest disease or this virus, it seems like they think, and that they're given back to what they've destroyed. So yeah, and we see how members of the processing fund, they are not the biggest fans of this church. I guess someone who's an administrative assistant, they think it's inhumane, like these people are actual people, are considered actual people, members of society, and it's wrong. It's just like interesting seeing how it's like people that's being slaughtered. As well, it seems like no one at this planet likes this church just because they'll show up early or on different dates and say it's their fault. Like, and also, one last thing, we see how it is with the hunting reserve, how the leader thinks, like, he likes the idea of eating people alive, which is just fucking disturbing. Like, he likes seeing, like, how the light goes out of the person's eye and how you're responsible for taking this life. It's like you're taking their soul, which is questionable, and how it's a game to some people. So, but also how for certain people, like certain celebrities that were like very famous in the public domain, how and when they fall out of the spotlight and they are in a lot of debt, that they will go to the hunting reserve, and if they survive like after a week, few days, it depends on their debt. Their debt's forgiven basically, so it's practically impossible for them to pay off the debt because they will be hunted high likely and they will be killed. Like, it's like people just treat us like they're just trophies, and it's like so fucking disturbing. So yeah, so far I am enjoying myself. I am like this stuff, which I don't know if that's messed up for me to say, but yeah, you see how we are kind of going back to the old ways, like some like when human civilization first became a thing, there was probably cannibalism, and the fact we now judge people for being cannibals, like the leader of the I guess the leader of the hunting reserve, the head of the whole thing. It's like, it's hypocritical. Don't you think that we used to judge people for eating people? So yeah, there's a lot of things to think about, and it's like, I don't know, it's intriguing to me, this novel. So yeah, and I don't think I will be filming myself running in errands. I always just feel weird doing that, and I am gonna be driving probably, so yeah, I'll see you when I see you. So it's the next day, and I've just done some work and whatnot. I also had to run an errand. I had to get a blood test, and nothing serious. I think it's because I had to get a new doctor, so it's this test is to make sure everything's good with me and whatnot. So yeah, that went well. And I also finished Tender is the Flash today, and I gonna say I like this because how can you say you liked a book about cannibalism? But I was very much intrigued about this. Plot wise, Marcos' father does die. He's, I guess, succumbs to some disease, and that changes Marcos because before it seemed like he put in some effort to care about his work and whatnot. After his father died, it just seemed like he stopped caring about like how the whole industry worked. He had to go to this laboratory where they perform experiments using the humans that are for consumption as like the test rats, essentially, to try and understand how the human body works, how to make things better, like how to make safer cars and whatnot. And it's also seen that they do have some animals there, but we're not entirely sure like for what exactly. Like it's like he finds it a bit weird that they've never really found the cure for this virus. It seemed like the scientists just didn't care, or the government didn't put in the money for for the experiments to find it. Like he is outwardly questioning this stuff when previously seemed to be more of an inward thing. Yeah. And he does call out his sister's BS on how she tries to be like this perfect woman, like seems like to be this perfect daughter who loved her father who did visit him. Like she tries to put up this image of who she was to her father, like editing pictures, so it seems like they spend good quality time together editing pictures, so it seems like she and her family visited her father in the nursing home, even food they didn't. Like everything she's doing is an act to better her image, to her husband's colleagues, to his boss, to his family. So yeah, and we also see how the scavengers, the people who are living in extreme poverty, how they weren't getting enough from the scraps of human meat that they were getting from the processing plant, so they, it seems like, overturned the truck where there was the heads in there, and yeah, killed everyone, ate everyone, so that was interesting. And we also see how the relationship with Marcos and Cecilia are affected by the events at the end of this book. Like it seems like finally like they might get a new fresh start, like have a proper family. Yeah. Right. Yeah. What I was about to say would be spoilers, so that's why I cut myself off. But yeah, I do want to say I do enjoy how language was used in this book. Like with the humans who are being eaten, they're not called humans. Like it's like taken that, I guess, tied away from them and making them something that's less human because they're just called the head or something. And as well, Marcos, he called the female specimen in that's in his possession Jasmine because she smells like jasmine, I guess. And at the end of the book, he goes back to referring her as just the female. And how it seems like he also treats her after she does something to him. She essentially gives him something. I spoiled this already. I think she was pregnant. She gave birth, and he knocks her out of the club and is planning to slaughter her. So I'm not entirely sure if that was his plan all along, because at one point he did seem to care about her, but I guess he decided to go back to Cecilia after. I'm not entirely clear about that, but and one last thing is with the death of his father, it seems like just to change Marcos, because previously he was filled with so much sadness, so much hatred of what was going on, and he just felt nothing afterwards. Like he felt nothing at the funeral. He felt nothing when he saw these teenage boys kill a bunch of puppies that he hung out with at this like a abandoned zoo, and yeah, he has changed, and I was very much intrigued about that and the language. So yeah, overall, I was just intrigued about this book. Again, cannot really say I liked it because of how messed up the subject matter is, but yeah, I'm probably gonna give this maybe 4 or 5 stars. I'm gonna sit on it for a bit, and my final rating will be on Goodreads. So yeah, and I don't really think I'm gonna be doing any more reading today, but tomorrow I do plan to start My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, which is about these two girls who grow up together in 1950s on the outskirts of Naples, and growing up together on these tough streets, these two girls learn to rely on each other ahead of anyone or anything else, as their friendship becomes a not always perfect shelter from hardship. So yeah, it's like, I guess it's exploring female friendship. I think one goes on more of the traditional one, where she's expected to marry and be a good housewife, and I think the other one goes down another route. I could be wrong about that one, but yeah, very much intrigued about that one, and yeah. And I think for the rest of the day I'm just gonna do some work and whatnot. It is quite dreary, but I think if the rain lets up, I might try and go on a walk just because, so yeah. I'll see you when I see you. So it's the next day, and I've just done some work and whatnot. I did make a couple appointments to find a new dentist and made that phone call, but yeah, that's all scheduled, so yeah. And I have done some reading of My Brilliant Friend, and I'm on page 88. I also did forget to credit the translator yesterday. This was translated from the Italian by Anne Goldstein. And so far, I am intrigued by this novel. I am liking it. You start off, like, I guess more modernly, like at the end of Lila and Elena's story, when Lila, for some reason, has disappeared from the face of the earth. She's kind of erased herself from everything that proved that she was alive. Like every photograph, everything, like it's almost like she didn't exist, except she has, because her son calls Elena wondering where his mother is. And Elena's, she's recapping her friendship with Lila, and we get that story. Yeah. And we see how these two girls, like, it seems like the way their lives have affected them. Like, we see the violence that's taken place in this neighborhood, violence, like, over petty things, like who's in school, like a classmate phone walks at them because they prove that they're smarter than him, and as well the violence they've experienced in their homes. With Elena, who is the narrator of this story, her mother, like, berates her father, tries to have her father kind of be tougher and have him beat Elena at one point, and seems like Elena's mother is a bit, not selfish, but maybe in a way, because Elena's mother has this, like, leg injury, and as well she will waste her salary on stuff, it seems like. And with Lila's father, it seems like he has a bit of a temper, and I think his daughter has, and we see how that affects them. And we see how Elena, she kind of wants to prove to Lila, like, she likes Lila, she's Lila, I think her name is. And how there's this dynamic between the two girls, where Lila's the leader of them, and Elena's always behind Lila, rather than, and really that's like a physical thing. Like, Lila is always 10 steps ahead of Elena, and Elena is behind. And when Elena threatens to be ahead of Lila in life, Lila kind of pretends to cut Elena out or exclude her, be friends with another girl, and look at, like, she's much closer to her. Like, there's a lot of toxic female friendship in these two girls. Like, at the beginning of the story where I'm at, they're like between the ages of 7 and 10 or 11. Like, they're extremely young. And as well, we see how their home life does affect their friendship, in the sense that Elena is able to convince her mother to take these private lessons for Latin, to allow her to take the test to try and enter middle school when her mom's not entirely. Her mom doesn't want her to because of the money. Like, she just sees it's so expensive and it's a waste of money. But Elena's able to convince her father, and eventually her mother's reluctantly to do so. But with Lila, her father is just like, no, he's not gonna do it because he doesn't see the point. Like, he didn't go to school. Lila's older brother didn't go to school. He didn't see the point in that way, and as well with the fact that Lila is a girl. Like, it's like, why would a girl go to school? Like, so there's that, and how Lila just tried to sabotage Elena from being ahead of her, because Lila came up with this idea to skip school to try and go to the sea. And they got caught, and Lila, it seems like she was hoping that Elena's mom would be so angry with her daughter that she would refuse her daughter to continue on in her Latin lessons, to refuse her daughter to take these tests to go to middle school, and she failed. So yeah, then the part one, we see how this neighbor that no one in the neighborhood liked, named Don and Kelly, how he's killed, and the father of their friend is accused of this. So yeah, so far I am intrigued seeing how the lives around them are affecting them, like the violence they see on the streets, at home, the dynamic with their parents, how that's all affecting their lives, and as well their parents' decisions. Like, so far it seems like Elena will be headed towards like more brilliant stuff, more school stuff, electrical stuff. No one word, sorry, but you get what I mean. While Lila's kind of being forced down the more traditional route, or the route that the law women are expected to be on, like, be a good wife, stay home, watch the kids, take care of the chores, all that kind of stuff. So it seems like that's the path she's going down. So yeah, so far I'm less intrigued about this novel, and yeah. And today isn't so dreary, so I will be going on a walk today, and I think for the rest of the day I'm just going to be doing some work and whatnot. So yeah, I'll see you when I see you. So it's the next day, and as you saw, I did go for a bit of a walk. The weather did finally clear up, which is good because like I was fed up with the rainy weather. So yeah. But yeah, I did go to a park before. I did run some errands and did some grocery shopping and whatnot, and I have done some work as well today. And I have done some reading of My Brilliant Friend, and now I'm on page 152, and still so far I'm liking it. I am liking seeing how Elena, our narrator, she's seeing these changes happening in her body due to puberty. That's the, and it frightens her because it's like these changes. It's like, what is this? This is so freaking weird. And her mom is like trying to make her feel like she should be ashamed with herself, like ashamed with these changes that she doesn't have control over, because Elena, as it's pointed out a few times, has big breasts. Like, yeah, I get it. But she is also mentioning like how all of the girls are changing, and how Lila's still kind of still the same, really. Like, Lila's still very thin. She might have some breast, but very small. Like, she's not a woman yet. She's not becoming a woman yet. And finally, when Lila does become a woman, well, when Lila finally gets her period, I don't know why. I guess like, then things do change, and people, boys in particular, do start to notice Lila more, whereas before they didn't really pay attention to her. And we see as the priorities with in the neighborhood have changed with the girls. Like they're all boy obsessed. They're all wondering, does this boy like me? Does this boy like me? Stay away from those two boys. They're troublemakers. Like it's like getting to that stage where you're kind of boy crazy. It's just enjoyable. But yeah, and it seems like Lila she still has her ambitions of becoming successful. Through it's no longer writing the book. She's helping out in her father's shoe shop where he repairs shoes, and she and her brother came up with this idea of making new shoes. And her father, who has some experience in working in a factory making shoes, is like no, and he refused to hear it. So she and her brother are making shoes and creating. So yeah. And as well with Lila and Elena's friendship, Elena was accepted to this high school. Like she thought after she finished middle school, well, that's it, her education is over. And one of her teachers, I think it was like an elementary school teacher, was like, "Are you gonna go to high school?" And Elena's like, "What's high school?" And the teacher somehow convinces her parents to allow her to go to high school, like get secondhand books and yeah, whatnot. And Elena, when she goes to high school, is going to be learning Greek. And it seems like Lila has also started learning Greek even before Elena has the opportunity to start learning Greek herself. Like it seems like Lila always has to be ahead of Elena. She always has to be better than her. And this kind of, in a way, because we only get Elena's perspective, causes like a bit of a competition and between the two girls, and it causes Elena to be a bit resentful towards Lila because she feels like Lila's just trying to outweigh her or make her feel less smart about her own capabilities, because Lila's doesn't have the opportunity to go to high school. So yeah, there's that friendship in here. And we see how as well, like these girls, like Elena, Lila, of these other girls, they only know like this neighborhood, these apartment buildings, this courtyard, the same like 3-4 stores. They've never really explored the west of Naples, and to them it's like it's this exotic place where it's like so much bigger, so much better, so much different. Because to Elena at least, Naples doesn't seem to be as violent as their neighborhood is, and she's excited about it. Like it seems like she just wants to see the world so far, which might be reaching it so far, but it's like she wants to she has this opportunity to see more, and she wants to take it and experience it, and she's excited about what is out of this neighborhood she's living in. And yeah, I do like that idea. So yeah, so far I am very much intrigued by this novel, and I'm really much liking it. And I'm not sure if you can really see what was next to me. I didn't go book shopping. I did win a Goodreads giveaway for A Sunny Place for Shady People by Marina Enriquez. And it seems like it's a bunch of short stories. It's 12 spellbinding stories about women whose lives turn inside out when they encounter terror that's real and supernatural. And yeah, it seems interesting. I should also say while I'm reading this, it's translated by Megan McDowell. So yeah, I'm planning to read this quite soon, and yeah, I think this cover is very beautiful. So yeah, that's all for today. I think for the rest of the day, I'm just probably gonna do some more work and whatnot. So yeah, I'll see you when I see you. So it's the next day, and I've just done some work and whatnot. I've also done some cleaning. Because this is Saturday, and I have done some reading of my Braille and friend, and now I'm on page 234, and I'm still liking it. And what is what we are seeing more of the violence these girls are exposed to in their neighborhood, and how it seems like it's like people are quick to anger, and people are they have petty feuds. It seems like with the scene I read this morning, we see that we know I don't know how to pronounce that, but he is Lila's older brother, and he once put on a better fireworks show that he's better than these two brothers. I believe their last name is like Soros. They're brothers who are like they're pretty like wealthy in the neighborhood. Like they drive a nice car. Their family business seems to be very successful. They're able to get girls like, but they're also brothers that young girls are told to stay away from. And every New Year's Eve, they put on a grand fireworks show, and Wino he wants to put on a better fireworks show. Like it seems like he's almost determined to make it a competition with them. And we see as that competition unfolds and how it goes to an extreme, because during that fireworks show, one of the Solaris brothers starts shooting an actual gun. So yeah, things get out of hand very quickly with that one. And with the fireworks show, Lila, she mentions this to Elena like later, like Elena tells us about this, that she learned about this episode years after the episode took place, but Lila like disassociated almost. Like she saw people for who maybe they were like selves and whatnot. She went for this weird episode that I didn't really make it on something. It seems to have affected Lila. Like Lila seems to have just stopped caring. Like she stops helping her father and her brother at the shoe store. She stops reading books and trying to, I guess, prove that she's better than Elena. Like she almost becomes the shadow of herself, and he's like not really explaining about. Yeah, and speaking of the characters, we also see how they are affected when they're leaving when they leave the neighborhood. Like when they're in the grander neighborhood of Naples, they feel different, almost lesser than the people there. Like the people there, they look more wealthy. They don't deal with as much violence, and it seems like with certain characters, they bring the violence wherever they go. Like, Wino, when he's in a different neighborhood, even then he seems he's quick to anger. So yeah. But with Elena, it seems like she thrives in that sort of area. Like she's so intrigued. It excites her being in a different neighborhood, or really outside of her neighborhood. Really, she's on this island that her former teacher's cousin lives on, and again, she seems to thrive. Like she's learning, she's reading, she goes to the beach. Like there are physical changes happening to her when she's out of her neighborhood. The acne clears up. Her body changes. Like she mentions when she was in the neighborhood, she was a bit, fat, and she said that she got leaner, and she's making these changes that she thinks is better for her. It seems like that when she's out of the neighborhood, away from that influence, away from, I guess, the influence of Lila, or thinking about Lila in general, that she thrives, because all thing she can think of when she's with Lila is like how she can be better than her, how she can show that she is better than Lila, smarter even. And it seems like that if, I don't know, Lila in a way makes Elena doubt herself, because when, in the last couple of days of Elena's vacation, she gets a letter from Lila, because Elena, she's written to Ella about everything that's happened on her vacation, like stuff that's quite mundane, like she wouldn't share it with her best friend, and her friend doesn't respond to her at all. So only on the last couple of days that Lila finally writes back, and in her letter, that makes Elena insecure, because the first thing Elena thinks of when she reads the letter, it's not the contents, but it's that the fact that Lila is a much better writer than Elena, despite Lila not going to school further than elementary school. Like, again, she's putting doubts in her head, like, yeah. But as well, it seems like, I don't know, I don't know if Elena's being manipulated by Lila, like, because Lila has tried to sabotage Elena's success, it seems like, in the past, and I'm not sure if this is another one, or if she's doing it purposely, or if she's just saying, like, what's happened, because when Elena was away, it seems like one of the brothers, Marcelo, is trying to pursue a relationship with her, like, he's trying to win her father's affection, like, by complimenting the shoes that she and her brother made to try and sell, and by giving her TV, like, he is trying to win her over, like, even though she did reject to the fact of being his girlfriend, he is trying to pursue an engagement with her, which, yeah, she's like 15, so, yeah, but still, and Lila, like, he just threatened Lila, and Lila seems afraid, so, yeah, we do see how violence has a huge impact on a girl's lives, because there was this scene in here that I just came over. So, Elena went into this family that used to live in the neighborhood. The husband, father of the family, was having an affair with another woman, and yeah, it seems like he's not a good guy when it comes to that. Like, he's not faithful to his wife. He tries to seduce Elena. Yeah, no, I don't need to read that, so I skimmed it, which I usually do. Yeah, and it's like, but that's really just another example of the violence this girl's face, so yeah, it seems like that's really on the thing, because like the more casual violence, like, you see when a relative, like, we know Lila's brother, he gets mad, and or her father gets mad, and it gets to a level where they become violent. So yeah, I can't help but think of all the violence happening in this book, and also like of this, I don't know, it's like you do see the teenage insecurities. I was thinking like, this person's so much better than me and whatnot. So yeah, so far a lot of things that I'm like intrigued about really in this novel, but yeah, but this is the end of this vlog. I think I'm gonna be vlogging next week. I'm not sure, just because usually when it's one time for me to post my wrap-ups, I usually just take a week off just to take a break from vlogging. We will see. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below telling me what you've been up to recently. If you want to, please subscribe to this channel. If you want, follow me on any social media. All those things are down bar below. I'll see you guys next time I post a video. Bye.